Okay, so on this video I'm going to show you how to install LED lights into your Xbox 360. You could buy the LED lights at Radio Shack or online. I bought these at Radio Shack. They're the square ones, but it doesn't really matter. They come two in a pack. They're like $1.80 for each pack. And then you're going to need 220 ohm resistors. Make sure when you buy them, they're the 220 ohms, not the ones that say 220k ohms. Only the ones that say 220 ohms only. The K ones are different. And probably cost you like $7. That's how much it cost at Radio Shack. Like $7 for 3 packs. Depends how many you're gonna put. I'm only gonna put 3 on each side. So okay, once you have this, you want to take apart your 360. Like once you have it at this point, like that, take off all the plastics. And on this one, I already installed some. These are green, the same thing, just different color. So they have two little legs. One's positive, one's negative. The negative, you solder it to the chassis of the Xbox 360, which is the ground. See it right there? But sometimes the solder doesn't really stick onto this because it's metal. So you want to do is get all the negatives. This is -2, going down to negative, and then from the cable solder it to the 360. So that's just the negative for the negative. For the positive side, you're gonna use this the cable that goes to the 360. It has 12 volts. That's why you need the resistors to convert it to 2.4 volts. Then just connect it. Has a resistor for each LED. So this is a positive, 12 volt. It goes into the resistor and it converts it to 2. Then from there you get it the other one and converts it to 2. The same thing. You need one for each individual LED. I'm gonna do that right now, but with these I'm gonna install some red ones too. I'm gonna put a switch so you could have options between choosing green and red. Okay, so the first step to install them, you want to open them, and you'll see one leg is longer than the other, which is the positive side. Okay, look at your LEDs and make sure you have the you know which one's positive, which is negative. The shorter one is negative. Make sure you know which one's which. And if they're the same size, you can check in the diagram where you bought them at in the little pack. It should say which one's positive, which one's negative. Okay, so once you know which one's a positive, you want to put a piece of tape on the positive side. You can see it like that better. Okay, there we go. Make sure it's all the way down, so when you put it in between the holes, the positive side won't touch the ground, or else it's gonna make a short circuit. So make sure you put a piece of tape there, and if you can, put some crazy glue so it won't like slide off. Because if you don't put it, it might make a short circuit. So you don't want that to happen. See, I already did them on all the LEDs, all the positive sides. I covered it with tape, and then I put a little piece of crazy glue. A little bit, just a little, not that much. Just a little so it won't move, so it can stay there. So when you put it in the hole, because this is ground, remember, this is ground. And one of these, the one that we put tape on, is a positive. So when you put it in between the holes, let me just do that real fast, just to show you. See that? So it won't. So the positive side won't touch the ground. See like that? The tape is protecting it from touching the ground, and that's why you put tape on all of them. Okay, then the next step is place the LED. I already had these. Remember, these are the green ones I already have, and I put that one right there next to it. Well, like below it and next to it. What you want to do is just put it in wherever you're gonna put your LED, between the two holes. Since remember, the positive side isn't touching the ground, so you won't have a short circuit. Then the negative, just fold it all the way to the right. Just leave it like that. Place all of them like that, so you have the positive sticking out and the negative folding that way, so you can solder it to the system. But first, just place all of them, so it could be easier. Then you just solder at the end. Just place all of them wherever you're gonna put them at. Okay, so I already placed them, the red ones that we're gonna install. forget about these cables. You won't have them. It's only me because I'm gonna put double, but for you guys, just so once you try to keep all of them the same, like this one's the right side is negative, the left side is positive. Try to keep them the same. Left positive, right negative, left positive. Try to keep them the same. Okay, then you get like some like these right here, and then just cut a little bit so you have like, you can see that big ass stick coming out the leg. Just cut it so you have a little bit left, just enough to solder it like that. Do the same thing to all of them. Okay. Okay. I know the camera isn't that good, you can't see it very clearly, but just cut them so you have enough space to solder them. And you do that the same thing to the negative side. Okay, so once you have them in place, you could to make sure they won't move or anything, you could hot glue them. Just put a little bit like on top of them, just so it won't stick onto the frame. Or you could just put a little bit of crazy glue. Then let me do that real fast. Just glue them, basically just glue them on. Okay, after that, get your soldering gun and apply a little bit of solder to each leg, just a little bit. So it'll be easier when you connect the cable. Just put a little bit on each leg. Just apply a little bit, not that much. Let me wait for this thing to heat up a little. Then the negative side too. Okay, just put a little bit. You see some right there. It's right here. Just put a little bit on each thing, and then you could use any cable. I'm using like speaker cable. This one's kind of big, but it doesn't matter. You could use anything. Like I usually use speaker cable like on mostly all my stuff. Like use like LEDs or whatever. It's not that much. Like those right there, there's like speaker cables too. It doesn't have to be that big. And then first just connect all the ground. Since I already have this ground right here, I'm just gonna connect it directly above it, so you could have the same ground, because the ground doesn't really matter. The power is the one that does. So first, just connect all the grounds, all the grounds, and then make sure connect them all together. And once you have it all together, connect it to the chassis separately with just one cable. Make sure that one's good, because if one of them doesn't solder very good, the other ones will. Cause just solder them all the grounds first. Just solder them to the system. So after you soldered the negative, all the ground, now you want to get your resistor, and then do the same thing. Just cut it a little. Just cut it a little, enough to solder it, like that. I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's a little bit. Do the same thing to both sides. So you have it like that, just a little. And since we already put some solder on the leg, on the positive, just solder it. Just put it right there, and then just solder it. But I can't. Let me just do that right now. I can't do it with the camera on. Okay, so now I already soldered the resistor to each positive side, and then you have some exposed right here where you put the solder. So you just want to get your black tape and then cover the solder on all of them, so you won't get a short circuit if it touches a negative.